Hello, my fellow explorers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story, episode 115, Departing for the Resonance Archive. So, there is a little bit of things left to do. Prepare to depart for the archive is the current goal. The things that I need to do first. So, let's quickly talk about what you need in the archive. One, you need food and healing. You need a light source, both probably lanterns and torches. They're both important. You need extra storage because the archive will have a lot of stuff and you need to store that stuff. Weapons, armor, equipment, all that stuff. We already have that stuff. So what I need to put together right now is probably either emptying out one of these trunks and using it, or to make a new trunk. And I think in this case, I might just empty out the trunk, as it is easier to do than making it from scratch. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run this stuff downstairs into the downstairs storage. And then, can you even stack blister steel? Oh, you can. Well, that's convenient. Okay, we'll stick the blister steel there. In fact, I can stick the bronze ingot there as well. Saves me a little bit of room. All right. So, am I still sick? Yeah, I mean, one can assume I am going to be sick forever. Like, it's a bit of a joke, but I mean, I have a toddler, and actually just today I got an alert from his daycare that there's something new going around, so it's one of those, yeah, I'm sick, and I'll probably continue to be sick, and, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I don't feel too bad. A little bit of a cough, upper respiratory thing, but I know I sound terrible, so I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do. My voice is just kaput. This is how it be. Okay, so let's put the rest of this stuff away, and then we'll be all set. So in my inventory, the bowls are fine. Yeah, I think everything in my current inventory is fine to bring. So going through the full list here, one thing that I might want is a bed. Like a simple hay bed. I can actually probably harvest hay with my knife while I'm out there. So if I need a bed, I can make it pretty easily. So probably don't need to bring that. Now that it is spring, I don't really need fire-making materials. I'm not likely to get hypothermic. So I don't think there's anything for me to grab down here. There's really nothing for me to grab in the leather. I will want a temporal gear to set a spawn point once I'm there. I'm going to grab the healing items I made. The horse tail, because I can turn those into poultices. Now, I don't need the map. I've already marked the location down, which is over here. And it's pinned. So I can leave the map behind. Grabbing the whole stack of torches would be fine. Now, all of this extra horsetail is assuming that I, on my way over, get cattail. Because as I travel, I'm going to want to use the horsetail. I'm going to put one bowl away, though. Go for 4 bowls. I won't be grabbing the cheese. It's not aged, and I'm just okay with that. Alright, then apart from that, the food. Now it is spring, so it's going to be definitely a bit easier to fulfill my food. And then the jams. Gotta pump up the jams. Let's see here. I might put away the vegetable pies that I have right now in lieu of grabbing more jams. I'm planning on essentially eating the jams exclusively on my way over because jams can't really be eaten inside the archives all that well. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Oh, our Generation 1 is ready to mate. Just low weight. You know what? Oh god, I don't really have grain. Never mind. I will have flax grain and rye soon. Man, I have a lot of rye growing. Am I going to build a chest when I get there? Nope. I'm going to take one. So my inventory is now entirely full. And I might want one extra spot. So maybe I ditch 20 of the horsetail that I have, as having more than 2 stacks is probably enough. I do want to bring my tools. Prospecting pick is probably not necessary, but all the other tools likely will be. And for the first croc, let's go ahead and I wonder what even happened. I filled 4 bowls. Did I just drop one? Yeah, I dropped one. So that is an empty crock. Let's make a little bit of space then. What to lose? Yeah, I will lose the pro pick. There's really not an instance where I'm going to need the pro pick where I'm headed. All right, we are good to go. So it is quite a long journey to the southeast. I bought the map as a little reminder from the trader for bronze pick, and he pointed me in this direction. As far as my nutrition goes, I don't have a lot of dairy fulfillment because the cheese wasn't ready in time. But at least I have the fruit preserves, which will be a good start to getting even more HP. Now, the biggest threat to me on my way over, and I guess head to the archive is the new priority, is falling, of all things. Because in full steel armor, not much is going to kill me, especially not here on the surface. I mean, bears would be the strongest, but they don't do too much when you're in full steel. Oh, these cranberry bushes are getting ripe. 4 days into flowering, 4 or 5 days into flowering. All right, there is a bit of an isthmus here that I can use to cross the water. Will do. I like staying dry. Even if the Seraph doesn't care about getting wet. I don't know. I feel like being in full chainmail, it's nice to stay dry. You know, I just can't help but to check. You know what I mean? Nope. It's more or less just a check of like my treasure finding capabilities, or in this case, meteor finding capabilities. So let me talk about the archive a little bit. I've done the archive multiple times, but I am going to approach it as if it is my first time. so that I'm not min-maxing or speedrunning or anything like that, so that it is a sense of discovery instead of me just like beelining for all of the things that you need to do in there. And to that end, no spoilers. If I am not spoiling it, you ought not to either. It is also, I will say, without too many spoilers, as you might have imagined through all of the preparation that I made, one of the hardest things that you can do in the game. So if you do want to do the archive, be prepared, because it is a long journey and it is a difficult thing to get done. All right, we are down one bowl of fruit already. So, some things to know about the archive, without an excessive amount of spoilers. The archive is a protected area, much like player claims would be in multiplayer, meaning that you cannot modify the archive in any way, in any meaningful way. So you can't mine it, you can't place blocks, you can't even put things on shelves. There are things to loot. Oh, look, surface tin. It's such a novelty, I'm just going to mark it down. And the reason I mention that is I pre-cut my pies, but had I not, I would not have been able to put the pies down inside the archive to even cut them. Likewise, I wouldn't be able to put the crocks down to be able to put food in the bowls, because you can't take food out of a crock this way. I think you should be able to, but you're not. So when you're prepping to go to the archive, make sure that you won't need to do any placement of blocks, because you won't be able to. It's like protected area. And that doesn't spoil too much. It just maybe saves you from a big headache. Wow, my meteor finding luck has completely run out. Are we in larch? Yeah, so we're in a larch forest now. Or we're headed into one. Ooh, there is a trader over here. It's also worth mentioning, or rather I would like to mention, that this traditionally, for the first, I think, 16 or 17, maybe even 18 of the streams that I made of this, it was a viewer's choice, meaning that you guys voted for it. And it is no longer that. I'm choosing this for myself to play, because it's been losing in the polls. And the reason I mention that is I'm going to play as if there is going to be additional streams, but there might not be. This is I decided to prop this up and push for the archive so that it wasn't left on like such a cliffhanger. But with that said, if it doesn't make a comeback in the polls, I am not going to keep it artificially propped up beyond this stream. So I will play as if there is additional streams, but there may not be. Some dormant pear trees, which is exactly why I am marking down points of interest and the like, because if there is to be additional streams of this, this is information that I would want. Locations of surface tin or fruit trees or whatever. Cheers. So let's look at the big picture here. I'm actually making pretty good time. This is not as far out. It can sometimes be like extremely far because there is only one archive per server. And depending on your chosen location, like if you start playing the game and you immediately start running south so that you're in a warmer climate and you run very far south, the likelihood of you being extraordinarily far from the archive, given the map seed, is pretty high. Because I didn't really stray too far from the natural spawn point, means that the archive was close-ish. This super bright lantern is very, very nice. It's like straight up daylight around me. I'm also surprised. I mean, I ran into wolves, but they didn't even bite me. Surprised I haven't really run into any issues. So there's a... Oh yeah, I've been here before. This is where I found my quartz, and pretty close to where I found my bauxite. Bauxite's just beyond here. So there's this obnoxious gravel mountain thing that I'll have to go around. I did bring my pick and my shovel so that if I have to make a path, I can. Ah, here's glacier ice. So glacier ice is ice that never melts, ever. You can mine glacier ice on a glacier. Oh, surface copper. Terrible surface copper. And then bring it to like the super hot desert and it will still be frozen. It's a good replacement for glass. Will I be playing VS off stream? No. If it loses in the polls, no. I don't play a lot of games off stream that I stream. So it's not that I don't like Vintage Story, it's that I have very finite time, and a lot of my time playing games off stream is finding new games to play on stream. So if there's a low likelihood of me continuing to play Vintage Story, I gotta move on. It's work. It's not pleasure. I'm trying to be careful as to not jump into some deep pit of sorts. It looks like I need to go a little bit more east again because the terrain gets rough. So this is where I got the bauxite or more or less, I'm getting very close, for the steel armor. As you can see in the update command that I'm running, I do have my map set to the traditional pre 1.19 true color. Because this would be the non-true color, and it's like very difficult to spot bauxite that way because everything kind of looks the same. I mean, it looks old-timey and it looks like legit map, like a old parchment, map, but I don't know. Maybe if I started a new game, I would play on that, but for me, I was too reliant upon true color to transition over to the realistic looking one that has less information. It's mostly the less information that put me off, because I was like, cool, it's like a map that tells me less stuff. Granted, the prospecting overlay is amazing. Oh man, this terrain. Also, this lantern is so bright. Such a difference. Oh, more surface copper. Oh, and we are far enough to the south that we are getting berries that are just ripe. I figured that might be the case, depending on how far south we traveled. Honestly, I think it's more that the chunk just rendered, and it's the correct temperature to have ripe berries, so the bush rendered is ripe. Not so much that it ripened, because right now it's like 0 degrees Celsius, or 32 Fahrenheit. Because we are... I think this is I think, honestly, the bauxite is the furthest we ever ventured from the base. Or almost. So I live here. Right. I live there. So this bauxite might be the furthest from home I've ever been. So we are... I feel like Samwise, right? In Lord of the Rings. Mr. Frodo. One more step and we're further from the Shire than we've ever been before. I mean, I'm getting the quote wrong, but the reference is sound, I think. Feel a little bit like a hobbit then. Well, that's cool. Claystone and granite mixed in. Mixed stone ruins. Oh, that's a nice tree. Gonna name that one Stumpy. Well, if I wanted to make poultices, there's cattail here, but I don't really have an abundance of inventory space. Is it snowing? No. I guess rain? Kind of something in between. Oh, more bauxite. Cool. I don't really need to mark that down. I already know where a huge deposit of bauxite is. The new maps do make it easier to see elevation. Yeah, because that's the only information they contain. You know, more or less. Elevation and, like, kind of foliage. Whereas it doesn't contain any geological information. Well, any material. You know what I mean. It doesn't contain materials. You can't tell granite from slate, from bauxite, from anything. I hope the, so these are a bunch of low birch. Been hoping to get some more, fruit. Wild fruit that I could pick. But it might be time to crack open another fired crock. Fruit's already about halfway up for nutrition, which is, amazing. Let's do it. Ooh, we got blueberry. I'm just going to leave the crock here. I don't really need the crock anymore. They're easy to make. And, I'm going to want the inventory space. Well, you know what? I'll bring it because I can throw it in the trunk, even if I don't use it. But if I do need the space at any point, I can dump it. So there's a giant shale field. Definitely going to want to cross the shale field. They're easier to cross than other terrain. If I was to do another stream after today, would you what would you do potentially? So some things in Vintage Story require a lot of time investment. So I have started to domesticate fruit trees, and I would continue working on that. Oh, chalk. Dang. Okay, let's mark this down. So why am I excited about that is I don't have a source of limestone, and limestone can grind down, as you can see, to lime. So for the longest time, I was collecting seashells because I didn't know where limestone, chalk, or marble was. So this is obviously a source of chalk, and if I do need a massive amount of mortar or lime or quick lime or whatever, there's a source of chalk here. Master Zelk, thank you for the sub. So the things that I would work on. One, I'd be looking forward to sprucing up the base with fancier designs. I would finish the fruit tree, or I would hope that one of the fruit trees at least vernalized and got planted, and I would start to do a greenhouse around that fruit tree, and then try to vernalize other fruit trees, although it might already be too warm. I would continue animal domestication to make it easier to make cheese and dairy, because I have more HP right now than I've ever had before because of my nutritional needs being met in a way that they've never been met before. So continuing to work towards milk and cheese. And then also alcohols too, aquavitae. I think actually I left some cranberry wine in the still that I could have double distilled to, or brandy rather, that I could have double distilled to aquavitae. Other things to do would be to try to work towards, oh, there's surface lead. I'll mark it down, why not? To work towards some of the in-game technologies, that would require me to do a lot of dungeoneering, heading into dungeons and doing a lot of exploration for materials. So there is a lot more sort of meat and content to the game beyond what you've seen me play, and beyond what I will do in the archive. But the archive is sort of the crescendo of the game anyway. It's definitely the big, unique dungeon, whereas all the other dungeons are really just like caves. This lost by like 2 or 3% when polls closed, and it lost by even a wider margin last week. So it's certainly not impossible that it could win future polls, which is why I'm playing as if there could be one. I don't want to self-sabotage. That would be foolish. Building materials. Curious what he currently has for sale. As I hold a knife to him. It's got glass, pink wallpaper. Fire, clay, shingles. So sometimes you can buy things that are like unique, like these wallpapers that you're really not going to be able to buy elsewhere. Cool. Just wanted to check. Alright, how's our progress? Because the terrain looks pretty rough ahead. I would say we're like 2/3 of the way there. But some of this terrain, it's probably going to be best for me to aim here. It looks flattest there. And then head east from that point. So I don't really want to be going over mountains. Sorry, currants. I like cranberries better. This was actually something I was hoping. Oh, nice. There's like rifts. Apocalyptic level rift activity. Okay, that explains it. I was like, why everywhere I'm going there's like rifts just popping up. Hey, trash pandas. How goes it, trash pandas? Look at you waddle in the water. Yeah, my fruit needs are almost full. That's awesome. If I eat like a meat pie and a vegetable pie, I'm gonna be pretty healthy. Yeah, I was definitely right to come this way. This is way smoother sailing here. Hey, a bronze axe. That's cool. I don't need it. Don't have space for it. But one could imagine really early game trying to make charcoal happening upon a free bronze axe would be pretty life-changing. The terrain like this, where it's like low birch bushes, scares me. Because it obscures holes in the ground very effectively, making falling to your doom easy. Oh, so some of the fruit trees are out of dormancy now. Although I am now quite a bit further south than I was before. No, don't stab the cattails. That's not how to do it. No, stop being weird. On guard, cattail. That's not how we do it. I'm just topping up the stack of cheapo bandages that I have. Because I don't want to dip into the good supply until I, need to. The fruit pies are still good for about a week, so they're not likely to rot before the return trip. Quite surprised by the lack of bears. Did I just jinx myself? Possibly, but too late. The game's like, hey, there's granite under here. Yeah, Portapain, you're right. There's these kind of bushes also make it very easy for wolves and bears to hide behind as well. How's our progress? Pretty good. I've also managed to mostly keep stuff out of my left hand, because left hand, holding things in your left hand, your offhand. I think actually you can choose if you're righty or lefty. But holding things in your offhand makes you hungrier. Sorry, currants. Blueberries are better. Plus, just listen to my voice. I clearly need the antioxidants. Having lived in Maine for like a decade or so, I don't even know how long I lived there. I definitely got to appreciating wild Maine blueberries. But it also makes it kind of challenging to eat blueberries that you buy normally, because they are just not good comparatively. One of these times I'm actually going to find a meteor strike. Not today, apparently. It is so much easier to make this trip in the spring, or you know, any season that the bushes are ripe, because I have not even touched my pies yet. Just picking fruit on the way there. That's some pretty cool stone features, like waterfalls coming off of like curved archways. Kind of on the path. I could check it out. We also have red wine caps and other mushrooms that are out and growing too. I've probably been like waltzing past traders because I haven't really been checking my map all that much. It doesn't look like I've missed too many. I'm not really sure what I would even need from a trader, but always good to mark them down. Man, I like the whatever biome I'm in right now. This is my jam. Was that a wolf pup, though? I think it was. It's pretty. It's open. It's like, I wonder what the game calls it. I'm going to call it prairie. Or flatland. I don't know. Seems prairie to me. I could maybe buy cheese from a trader? Yeah, if I found a food one, sure. I don't have gears on me, though. But if the trader was close enough to the Resonance Archive, I could get some gears from the archive and buy some cheese. My hit points is sitting around the 25 mark, which is pretty high. Higher than it's ever been. And in fact, my fruit's full, so next thing I eat is going to be red meat pie. I have to make sure I don't drop the entire stack, though, yeah. That means one crock going bye-bye. Don't have room for it anymore. I mean, croc's just a little bit of fired clay. It's pretty easy to leave behind. That is pretty cool terrain. It's like a mage tower at the top. Time for a dip. Got all sorts of different shells here. Well, we ought to be getting close. Yep. It is just beyond the distance of mapping. And as far as I can tell from the terrain data, so there's this lake that I might just like swim across there. But it's oh, we have more bauxite. Seems to be a lot of like rough woods. So the last mile or so is going to be kind of some of the most annoying to traverse. It's current, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story, which originally streamed live on Twitch, March 14th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.